Today's video is going to be the most requested video that I think we've ever had. It's the equipment video. It's what equipment do you use? We've kind of put off answering this, and we've put off answering it for a number of reasons. The main reason would be that to us it doesn't really matter what equipment you use. Obviously there's good equipment and bad equipment, but on the broad thing, it's just kind of whatever you want to use, you use. Look at the people that you like the sound of or you like the image of and use their equipment, use something like what they're doing. But we've had so many comments for so long asking what equipment we use, so this is going to be the one video that we're going to send people to whenever they ask what equipment we use. So we're going to start with me, and then we're going to go to Joe, and then we're going to go into the sounds that we get with the equipment. So first we're just going to start by saying what equipment it is that we use. So first, I use a Gibson Les Paul Jr., which is it's like a normal Les Paul, so you know, I guess what Slash would use or whatever, except one pickup, not two pickups, just one. It makes it considerably cheaper than every other Les Paul because there's I guess because there's less wire in it. Like if you look at the back, there's no holes to get in. There's like these ones here to get to the pots and whatever, but it's just a really basic guitar. Like the sound that you can get with it is really I guess specialised. Like if you don't like the sound of what that pickup sounds like, there's nothing that you can do to change it because there isn't another pickup. You can't blend or anything. It's just as it is, which makes it cheaper, which I think is good, and is probably the reason why I have it. You'll notice dents. You'll notice dents in all of my equipment because I believe that happened at college, didn't it?
You don't take care of your equipment.
No, I'm not very good at that. I use and abuse. If you care about what strings I use any balls, super slinkies or hybrid slinkies or something along the lines of that. If you care, in terms of strings, I'd just recommend trying whatever it is. Trying a variety of strings to see what you like yourself. I prefer thinner strings that are like, you can bend quite a lot with them. I've also got a custom strat. People always ask me about that. Whenever I play the strat that's like, it's like black, but it's got like purple, almost like electric strikes running through it, I'll put a photo on here. Whenever I play that guitar, people are always like, oh, what guitar's that? It's custom made, like my dad made it, just as like a little project that he did. So it's a strat with like wacky stuff in, and you can flip the polarity of the pickups and stuff. It blew all my pedals at one point, so I don't tend to play that in a live situation, and that's kind of what I'm going to be focusing on today, is what I'm going to be playing for the band that I'm going to be launching soon. Okay, so the amp that you are currently seeing is the amp that I use. I use two amps in my setup. I run two different distortions to two amps. I use a fuzz on one. We'll get to that. So the amp that you're currently seeing is my amp, the amp that I take everywhere and use. My second amp that I use, I just kind of have it interchangeable. So currently I am using Joyo's AD50VT, which is a variation of the amp that I use myself, which is an AD100 VTH. So it's slightly different versions of the same amp. They both like model loads of different amp sounds and stuff. But that second amp, I just use whatever. Currently my second amp that I've got at home is an AC30, which I get should be the better amp. Like AC30 is like the expensive like Vox thing that like was bluesians, but honestly I don't care. So let's go on to pedals, which I guess is the most interesting point of everything. So I guess we'll start with the big one, which probably no one's ever seen before. Maybe is this big black thing. So this controls all of the other pedals. So we'll get to that. But I'm going to address that now of, yeah, you'll probably be wondering what this is. So if we go from right to left, so we start with a pitchfork, which is a pedal that is basically a glorified pitch shifter. So it can change the pitch of what you're playing. So I'll give you a little demonstration of that. I won't show you the sounds that I get with it, but I'll show you a little demonstration of what it can do. So if I turn blend all the way up, then we've got just the change sound coming through. So if I play a note, I can change the interval. Bear in mind, on the guitar, I'm playing just one note and it's doing that itself. You can blend between the two. So you can do, I tend to just run this on an octave, so I run it on one octave. So you can have, the dual control is, you can have it so that it just does the octave up, just the octave down, or dual will do both. So I run the octave, so that's an octave, the octave below and the octave above. This is a really cool pedal, and it's got a latch function, which means that it will only turn on when you press it, so you can do really cool stuff like. So you can, if you wanted something to do like what Tom Morello does, which is a bit wacky, weird stuff, this is potentially a pedal that you might like to use. Next is a tuner. It tunes. It tunes. It's not very interesting. This is chorus pedal. If you've never heard chorus before, it sounds kind of weird. It's like what Kurt Cobain used as his effects of it. It sounds like kind of like that. You can do weird and wacky stuff with it. If you care about choruses, look into it. This is a distortion. This is a fuzz. This is like mildly expensive and like famous, and everyone should know what a Big Muff is because it sounds fucking awesome. This is just a cheap distortion that I use to boost my already gained amp. This is the thing that you probably care about more than anything else. So with the this Joyo PXL Pro, so what I've only just recently acquired it, so I haven't completely mastered, I guess, everything that it can do, because it can do triggers and stuff, and I'm not going to get into that because I'm not currently using it for that. But so you can see that we have A to D. They are 4 different presets. So they're 4 different presets of pedals. So if you look on the, so we have these here, the like L1, L2, L3, L4, which are all in loop 1, and then L1, L2, L3, L4, which are all in loop 2. So I currently have loop 1 running to amp 1, and loop 2 running to amp 2. You've got your guitar, it comes into the in, and you've got a send and return, which sends to a pedal, like the pitchfork, and then it'll return. What this pedal can do is it can turn that send on or off. That's judging by the light, so that's going to the pitchfork, that's not going to the pitchfork. So you can set up presets so that at any point I can have, so I can have, if I've got D on, it's got 2, which is the chorus, 3, which is going, all that 3 is doing is sending to loop 2. That way I can use loop 3 or L3 to turn my second amp on or off. And then L4 is the distortion for loop 1, and these 3 do absolutely naff all, they don't do anything, and that is just the distortion for my second amp. That's pretty much it. I guess it can get as complicated as you want, because over here you've got triggers, which is you can plug in the trigger, which is just a jack output, into your amp, and then you can use it to trigger different channels and effects on and all that kind of stuff. So this can do a hell of a lot of stuff. And it isn't just limited to these 4, because over here you have 8, so you have 8A, B, C, D on the little pad, and if you go bank, you've got 8 banks of 4. So that's enough for like an entire set of songs to have 4 different presets for each song, which is what I use it for, and it's very useful, and I'm going to show you that in a bit, like what I do. I guess that's it for all the equipment that I use. In terms of wires and stuff, these are all cheap crap wires. People recommend not using cheap crap wires. Plan to upgrade at some point. Haven't yet. Have I missed anything? Oh, this is a power supply. It powers all the pedals, so I don't have to use batteries and worry about it. It's by a company called Nordal Audio, and it's got really bright blue lights, which the camera doesn't like when it's close to him, like that. Good. That's all my shit. See, we knew that this video was going to be kind of...
How you doing?
I'm doing fine. We knew that this video was going to be kind of... crap? Boring? I don't know. Because... For me...
We don't give a shit about this
yeah,
stuff.
I mean... It might come across like we don't really care. And that's because we don't. Like... It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what equipment you use. We're doing this video for all the people that care. So, I hope this is helping, and we're going to cut to Joe now, and Joe's going to show you all of his stuff, and then he's going to show you what sounds he gets and stuff.
Here's the equipment I use. Would you like to...
Meander. So this is all my shit, ignore that, we're just using it to power Joe's.
This is my, clearly a hell of a lot more stripped down pedal board.
Yeah.
This technically isn't my pedal, but you know, it will be soon. This is my Ibanez SDGR 300, I believe this is. It is scratched to shit. I've painted it 3 times. I painted it green and red. No, I didn't. I painted it green and black, which you may have seen before. It is now just black and has been scratched to shit out of. and has loads of little green powder because I use these picks that scrape and wear down all over it. Also, 2 of my knobs have fallen off because I've been throwing it around quite a lot. It has a very thin neck, which is very good for me because I have small hands. This bass is really good because it has a... I suppose it has what you would class as a traditional bass sound. It sounds really deep and nice. It's all very like... It's quite got a groovy sound to it. And it's really good with the fingers where you can go like... Sounds very traditional bassy. This is my...
So it's
an Ashdown Electric Blue 180 Evo 2. It is 180 watts and it is heavy as fuck. I have actually dropped it a few times and it has caused me quite a severe amount of physical pain. It is, however, a very aesthetically pleasing amp. It is a very... Are you okay?
I'm perfectly fine.
Are you sure you're looking at me with like expectations for?
Yeah, I'm expecting stuff.
It has a lovely blue colour and it has a nice little light up dial there which shows you how loud you are. It's kind of like a rev meter in a car. So if you watch, when there's nothing playing, it's quiet, but when there's something playing, it goes up. It's very nice.
Tell you, it's a good job we don't do equipment reviews, innit?
I know. I don't really have much to say about the amp. It's very good quality. It's
good.
I haven't used many bass amps, to be fair. This was like the first one I ever had, wasn't it?
Yeah, so he has absolutely nothing to compare it to, so don't listen to us.
It is a good amp though, however, I have absolutely no complaints with it other than the fact that it is fucking heavy.
And he's missing a knob on this one as well.
I am.
Yep.
It has a built-in compressor.
No way!
It does, which as you can see, I have turned all the way up, which makes all my sounds sound similar. However, my G string is quieter than all the rest of my strings due to a fault in my pickups somewhere. So if I go... my G string is fucking feeble. I don't know why. It's alright because I don't use it very much though.
Shows the interesting stuff.
Okay, interesting stuff. Pedals. I have a Boss NS2 noise suppressor. This makes it so that these horrible fucking pedals don't make too much of a racket. Because, I'll show you. These are with, and that was without. It is fucking horrible. Okay, this is my main and my favourite pedal. It is my pride and joy. It is a bass Big Muff. I won't go into too much detail about it because Lenny's already explained that everyone should know what a Big Muff is. It has a funny name and it sounds horrible. Without is... and with is... It is a very raw sounding pedal. It's not quite as refined as Lenny's setup, but it works for me. This is it's technically not my pedal. It's a Boss DS1 Distortion. It's a very basic distortion sound. And I use this for when I'm playing lighter songs that still require a distorted sound. Like that. It doesn't have much of a bass sound to it, it's more of a guitar distortion, but it works for what I need. So I have my really nice lighter distortion, and I have this one, which kills people.
However you want to do that.
I'm in a band now. I left Lenny's band, and then a few months later I joined a new band, which I can tell Lenny's a little bit pissed off about, even though he won't admit it.
Right, so you know when I was like, oh, do you want to do your thing with it? I thought you were going to be a bit sly about it, a little bit more thing, but instead you just went, I'm in a band! I'm
in a band now. I play bass, which is good because I didn't play bass in the last band that I was in with him, or the other last band I was in with him. I played bass first off in the original band, and it was awesome.
If it helps, you could have played bass in my band because you and the bassist left at the same time, so...
No, the band I'm in now is horrible, really.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Which is why all of his sounds are...
Yeah, it's not refined at all, it just sounds like it's been pulled out of a toilet. Which is awesome.
It's called garage.
It's not.
That is, the garage is that.
I suppose it has, yeah. It sounds shit, but I love it.
Okay, so I'll take you through, I guess, what I actually use this setup for, because there's a lot that you could use it for, and there's what I do use it for. So I've currently got it on bank 1, and I can go through to bank 7. That's all that I use for the 7 tracks that the band is currently regularly playing. Currently set up as 1 through 5 is the order of the EP, and then 6 and 7 is 2 songs that aren't on the EP. So if I go through to, say, channel 1, I use A as the loudest. So A is that is sending to amp 2, so that's just turning amp 2 on, if you like, or sending, if you can see I've got this weird little splitter thing in here that's got the 2 outputs, so that's outputting back in and then outputting to loop 2. And then I've just got 2 distortions on, so this is literally just both distortions on. Top quality footage here. That is, I guess, what the basic distortion sound would be. We're in like a rock band, so...
I'm in a rock band, I play rock music.
Yeah, all that shit. So that's just, I guess, the standard sound. As we get down, for this song, I've got it that it goes in order of kind of what I play. So for B, it just turns one of the distortions off, so it turns the fuzz off. So it just turns that off, which is the verse sound. So that's just running one amp's distorted, one amp's not distorted. And then C is the other way around, so the other amp is now distorted. So that is the fuzz rather than the distortion, and then the other amp is clean. You might notice that it kind of sounds just like just a distorted guitar, and the other one sounds like just the distorted guitar, but it's the clarity that you get with having that clean behind it that you then lose when both are distorted, which is kind of what I like. And obviously there's a volume boost when you've got both on distortion.
Oh, my arm.
We've just got your finger now for the thing.
Oh, that's really... I know.
We've now just got Joe complaining about being there. It's alright, we haven't filmed his bit yet, so I've got all this to come. And then D is just chorus with both amps on, but not distorted. So I have this set up for every single song. So we've got the... And then next song would be... So that's how I use this rig, and if you're wondering why I'm using such a complicated thing to just turn pedals on and off, I could literally just come over here and just turn pedals on and off. It's because I'm trying to almost emulate what 2 guitarists would be doing with just one guitar, because Joe left the band. So I'm essentially emulating 2 guitarists, so being able to turn off a chorus and 2 distortions on is easy if you've got 2 guitarists or 3 guitarists. But to do that by yourself means I'm like fucking like tap dancing like around the thing while singing. It's so much time and effort to do. So like if we go back to like song 1, so I've got both distortions off and an effect on, and I want to instantly go to turn that off and then 2 distortions on, and I can't do that without this pedal. So it's almost like a bit of a saviour.
I need to stop, I'm fucking dying.
Okay, it's fine. So that's why I use that. You might say it's a bit expensive for what it does. Maybe, it depends how much you value it. I value this very, very much because it's a lifesaver, if you like. Hope you cared. That's the equipment I use, that's the equipment Joe uses, that's the sound I get, that's the sound Joe gets. This isn't what we use for Let's Write a Song. Let's Write a Song, we do everything digital on Logic. So we get that question a lot as well, and we've answered it so much. What do we record on? We record using Logic, and all the amps that I use for those songs are built into Logic. If you care about how to do stuff like what we do for Let's Write a Song, we had a series called Bedroom Recording. I'll link that up there so you can go watch that if you're interested in doing recordings in your bedroom. Have a good day. Your hand's not in. There we go. Bye bye.
Yeah, the mic wasn't on.
Yeah,
it was.
I know, because I made sure that it was on.